Good evening, everyone. We hope we will get some nice output, but unfortunately not. So hopefully you got some nice experience from this showcase video, which is supposed to replace our traditional PowerPoint presentation. Anyway, nice to meet you all. I'm David, and on behalf of Team AE, I'm going to present you our project, which is called Newsmatics. So perhaps, how did we come here? So we were thinking about making something unique, as everyone else was. Apparently, of course, because we are in a hackathon, right? And so, how to choose a name for a project? So we have Newsmatics and we have stocks. So Newsmatics, yeah. And so let's quickly dive right into it, I guess. So we pull our data from the Newsmatics database, of course, and also Masaryk, which is like the American stock exchange, to get data. And our project is registered under number 3, so data digest, but it's a blend of everything else as well. So I'm going to guide you through everything quickly, just so you get a nice look at it. So at the top of the page, we have some nice graphs which show like evolution of value over time, like classic selectors which you would normally find at a CoinMarketCap or some other platform of this kind. But it's not about stocks, it's also about news and how we use them to visualize data and analyze trends as well. So that's actually where the stock part ends and where everything else begins. So just underneath the main graph, we can see some basic information about news coverage per day, including time range selectors. And the little icons you see underneath, so these are identifiers of some trend changes which came abruptly fast. And we catch them according to the price or value evolution in the graphs, and then cover data as my colleague is going to show you in a minute. Anyway, let's continue downwards. So then we have a category which says seemingly unrelated. So of course, you can have a stock and you can have some related news to it. So for example, Microsoft, of course, too many things happening around Nvidia as well. But also, there can be some correlations which aren't necessarily apparent. So thanks to our models, which we use in the background, and my colleague is going to guide you through them, we analyze the trends and also can recommend some not necessarily apparent related news to you. Apart from that, we also display political coverage depending on labels and also political biases, which show how many articles are released by various publishers and various labels during either a stock increase in volume or decrease. Based on this data, we also created the news volatility graph, which is used to represent how certain publishers may influence the trends in value development over time. Apart from that, we also provide our visitors with a fear and greed sentiment index. So depending on the latest news, our API is able to decide and recognize positive meaning and positive mentions, and because of that, generate derive a sentiment index from that and show that to the user to perhaps correctly decide what to do if he is an investor, for example. Apart from that, a news coverage by location, of course, is a simple map. And the right panel is something more interesting for you as a user if you want to browse, for example, news by some time frame or by date. So we provide you with a quick summary, which is also generated by our handful LLMs. And also we provide you with a small indicator that you see at the bottom. So we compare all the news articles released on that day, and we compare the similarities in between them and show you how the consensus is. And the rest is, thanks to the Newsmatics API, the most relevant news articles from that specific day / over time, or if you choose one of the days listed below, and you can also view similar periods, so news articles which have been released in the past, and trends around the same theme.
So I'll be really quick because we don't have time. Our design philosophy regarding technology was to combine the most technologies that we possibly can to cover all the topics and all the unique advantages of those technologies. So at first we took some necessary data regarding the stocks, not only its name and stuff like that, but also like categories and things like that. We then transformed the news articles and abstracts we got from there into vectors that we stored into our database. We used that then to look for similar stories and stuff like that, but that's of course not all. We also had our own local LLMs. We were running in specific environments that were prompted to summarize in the most precise way the articles in the current day. That's where the summary came from. But also we used a different type of neural technology to read the articles and also guess like if it's a positive type of article regarding the stock or negative, and that's how we made that feed or grid graph. So we try to combine most of different strategies, and we hope that we were able to give you a comprehensive overview of stocks and news regarding that. And I think we're out of time.
Awesome presentation and awesome application. I have a question which kind of like seems natural. If you were to extend it in the future, what about some like prediction to the future? You know, I mean, could you, for example, check today's news and ask what else? If there something similar happened in the past and correlated to that?
We actually have this feature. Maybe you missed it because we went so fast. But actually, there are similar periods button, and when we click that, we try to find, or we are searching through the vector database for that we use. If I can go into more detail, we combine like the publishers and the abstracts from those titles, combine it into embedded vectors, and search for similar articles, and then you can see them there, and you can click on them and compare like how the stocks were behaving at that time, and also the trend wars and everything else around it. So it's something that is already there.
Awesome. Thank you.
Could you elaborate on how did you end up with the labels for the specific news?
Like labels,
like neutral, other, and so on.
Like the labels are in your API, if I'm not mistaken. Like we.
Yeah, okay. So it's various labels. Okay. And so the overall consensus, how it was calculated?
The consensus was made using, I think, colleague maybe, so maybe you can explain it in more detail.
Yes, of course, we also use the vectors for the consensus. So we took articles one by one, transformed them into vectors, and then we used a cosine function to calculate the mean difference between them, and that is basically the difference is there.
So it was a difference between the vectors for, because you're also chunking, right? You didn't put the whole article to bed, right?
No, we only use the abstracts because of obvious technical limitations.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, great interface, by the way.
I expect that you have some subset of those stocks that you're looking for and you created analysis for. How it would work if I would be interested in something else, some artwork, some other stuff.
That's not artwork or something, if I heard correctly?
Yeah, I would like to have an analysis for stocks that were not calculated. So how would be that?
Yeah, regarding those stocks, we actually pull the stock data live, so it could be like any data that would be like similarly structured regarding the price and the timeline, and then we look at some topic around that either stock or maybe it would be gold or something like that, and find similar trends. For example, if we took Tesla, not only we search for Tesla, but also automobile industry and stuff like that, and we looked at articles surrounding like that topic, and also we searched by relevance. It was a new feature that I didn't think before, and then we like applied all the next steps to it and made the overview.
Thank you. So about the Finbird model, I think it is from 2014. So did you try any other models except this one?
Regarding the embedding, you mean?
Yeah, I think you embedded by the Finbird.
Yeah, you are correct. We actually did not try anything different because it was like one of the first things that we implemented, and we found that it worked relatively well. And so instead of like trying to focus on this one thing and perfecting it, we chose to go a different route and try to embed multiple different models, maybe not in a perfect way, but that's the route we chose. And well, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.